No matter where you are in life, I think it's safe to say that most of us have or will experience working in a fast food or retail job. And lucky for you guys, I did both. So today, I'm going to be talking about my experiences working in a retail job. So way back when dragons roamed the kingdom and chainmail was still some drip, I managed to land a job at the holy grail of teenage employment destinations. We'll call it Feet Locker. Now, as a 16 to 17-year-old, working at Feet Locker was like being the president. As soon as the news broke out that I landed a job at Feet Locker, everybody wanted something from me. People finding out you got a job at their favorite store is like cracking a fresh pack of gum in the back of the classroom. The coolest part was that I had so much more friends than I thought I did. And no, but for real. Sometimes it just got annoying when random people I've never seen in my life would come up to me talking to me like we were sharing baby bottles back in the day. I mean, I had some random couple who lived in my building who I'd seen hundreds of times that I've never spoken a word to, find out which apartment I live in, and come knock on my door looking for a discount. But that was the least of my problems when I first started working at Feet Locker. Now, before I continue, I just want to say, for those of you who've seen my fast food story videos, I know how it looks, okay? But I'm telling you, it just so happens that the worst part about this job when I got it was the management. Well, specifically the manager. There was multiple assistant managers who were all cool, but the manager at the time was a real-life embodiment of Miss Trenchbull from Matilda. And I swear this wasn't just a me thing, okay? We had a group chat specifically made to vent our frustrations over this monster. And some people called her Wanda. I prefer Monster, but we'll use Wanda today. But yeah, this lady was, how do I put this? Insane. My first 6 months of working at Feet Locker felt more like boot camp than a retail job. I mean, even her shoulders were swole as hell. Now, Wanda wasn't a terrible manager to work for because she was a liar or because she was bad at what she did. I mean, she really cared about that store. Like, she really cared about that store. Like, seriously, she cared a ridiculous amount for that store. And it was just way too much. She was a micromanager. I think that would be the best way to describe it. I mean, if you came into work 15 minutes early, she would flip out if you didn't already have your uniform shirt on. And she would constantly be running up and down the sales floor, making sure every single movement we made was being monitored. And she was always mad like it was her default mood. It really just felt like walking on eggshells working with her, because you never knew what would knock her off the rails and make her snap on everybody. I mean, even the customers didn't like her, okay? It's not just me. If you check the Google reviews back when she managed that store, like every other comment is about her, and none of them were ever positive. And every time I had the pleasure to be scheduled to shift with her, she made the customers hate me too. Basically, at Feet Locker, we had this whole acronym for engaging with the customers to, I guess, drive sales and customer satisfaction, which would also lead to more sales probably. And Wanda would not let us forget it. Like, seriously, it was all she could talk about. To drill it into our heads any further, she would have to burn it into our skin like we were getting punished by the mob. And she would not let you forget it on the sales floor either. I remember one of my first shifts, I was going around making sure all the customers were getting what they needed, as a sales associate typically does. And I went up to this one guy and asked him if he was looking for anything specific. And he was like, "Nah, I'm good, bro." So I told him to just let me know if he needs something and I can grab it for him. And then I left him alone to shop, as any decent person would do. But like the eagle eye she was, Wanda was there watching, and I guess she felt like I hadn't shown enough of that good old Feet Locker spirit. So she came up to me and she was like, "Hey, what are you doing? Go engage with that customer." And I told her I just talked to him, and he said he would let me know if he needed something. But Wanda was like, "No, you gotta really engage with the customer. And go engage with it." So I was like, all right, and I go over to talk to this guy. And obviously, considering the fact that, I don't know him, I have nothing to engage with this guy about. And sure, I mean, I could get to know this guy who clearly wants to be left the fuck alone, or I could harass him. So that's pretty much what I did. I went up to this guy, and before I even got a couple words in my mouth, he was like, "Hey man, it's all good. I said I'd let you know if I need something. I'm just looking around right now." So I was like, "Yeah, no problem," and I left him alone. And then Wanda, who was still fucking stalking me for some reason, came over and was like, "Hey, you really gotta engage with the customers. Did you forget your training already?" And now I'm just trying to tell her, like, seriously, this guy clearly just wants to look around and he doesn't want me to force a conversation with him. But Wanda just didn't want to hear it and had me go back over to him again. And the second this guy made eye contact with me, I already knew he wanted to separate my head from my shoulders. And he immediately just goes, "Yo, I told you I'm good, bro. You don't need to keep bothering me. I'm just trying to look around. Damn." And I was just there like, I know. And then Wanda came back over to me. But this time I knew that I wasn't going to be a part of the harassment of this dude anymore. And Wanda's trying to tell me she can see that I'm not really engaging with the customer. And I just told her he wasn't happy with me bothering him and just wanted to be left alone. And she didn't like that at all. So she tells me she's going to show me how to engage with customers one more time and that I need to start doing that too. As she goes over there and pushes this guy over the edge. And now I'm just standing there watching the manager arguing with the customer. So yeah, she gave me a great example. But yeah, Wanda was just not the person you wanted to see as the on-shift manager. I remember one of my first shifts while I was still on probation, Wanda had me stay an extra half hour to reorganize the sock wall. Now, if she asked me to do the same thing a few months later, I would have been clocked out before she asked the question. But as a 16-year-old who dreamed of working at Feet Locker since, like the year before probably, I just thugged it out and collected my 30 minutes of extra pay to get the socks up. But yeah, long story short, Wanda was a tight-assed, angry ogre lady that nobody liked. But luckily for me, this devil in a referee uniform would end up getting transferred 6 months after I started, which of course called for a celebration. So to say our last goodbyes and fuck yous to Wanda, and also welcome in a new manager, we had a little work gathering at a local restaurant. And I really embarrassed myself here. Because you see, at the time, I was super locked in with my fitness goals and I was on a super strict diet. But I couldn't help but show up to the one event where I got to watch Wanda leave forever. So I planned on showing up and just ordering something small. But when I got into the menu, everything was pretty wild until I finally stumbled upon the perfect order. Sitting right there in the sides category was a very exotic sounding dish that sounded like a perfect fit for my dietary needs. Jasmine rice. It was jasmine rice. Now, some of you may be sitting there like, well, yeah, sounds pretty exotic to me. But most of you are probably sitting there like, you're a fucking idiot. I mean, up until this point in my life, it was either white rice or brown rice. And that pretty much summed up rice to me. And when I read jasmine rice on the menu, I mean, it sounded kind of foreign, you know, like some tropical rice dish or something. And then I got my plate. And it was just a little bowl of plain white rice. And while you can imagine everyone at the table was confused to see while they were eating burgers, fries, and pasta, I had a serving of fucking plain rice in front of me. So now half the table is laughing while the other half is offering to buy me food. As if they think the reason I got jasmine rice was because I was too fucking broke to get real food. Which, I mean, first of all, we work at the same place, okay? You know I can buy my own food. But second of all, what was supposed to be a night focused on saying goodbye to Wanda forever was now a night all about how some idiot at our place of work ordered 4 scoops of plain rice for dinner. And the worst part was no one would let the shit go. For the whole night, I can just hear random chatter popping up involving my name, rice, and fucking giggling. So I'm just there listening to them all yap about my dinner while occasionally getting someone patting me on the back telling me it's okay, like my fucking dog died or something. Anyways, the night got to its end, and we finally got to meet our new manager, Sally, who, by the way, was the GOAT. I mean, the amount of tension that was gone walking into work with Sally being manager instead of Wanda. Sally's years as manager were truly the peak years of my Feet Locker employment. And while my first 6 months working at Feet Locker with Wanda was the driving force of the pain and anger for me and all the other 16 to 20-year-olds that worked there, I gotta say that even though Wanda was an angry ogre that ruled the kingdom of Feet Locker with an iron fist, there was another person who was arguably worse to work with than her. And this person was an assistant manager, who got transferred to our store just a few months after I started. And we'll call him Robert. Now, Robert, well, he wasn't like a dickhead or anything, honestly, but that's not why he was someone you didn't want to work with. The reason why it was so scary, yes, I said scary, to work with Robert, is because he was fucking nasty. I'm not kidding. Anytime you looked over at Robert, there was a 75% chance he was flushing bats out of the cave or digging for gold. And in case you're not sure what I mean by that, Robert would constantly pick his nose all day. And when he wasn't picking his nose, he was fiddling with the back door. He was picking his ass. Just in there digging away like he was trying to break out El Chapo, with no shame whatsoever. He didn't even try to be stealthy about it. He would just stand there, phone in one hand, and the other hand, lost in the darkness. And because of that, most people would just fist bump him instead of dapping him up, but I wasn't even trying to do that. So I would just try my best to avoid making any contact with him at all, and in the worst case scenario, I'd give him an outer forearm bump. Not to mention, he was just creepy as hell. I mean, he was always making these weird, unfunny jokes, and then he would just stare at you with this creepy-ass smile that honestly would fit a lot better on an abandoned gas station clerk off the side of a dead highway than a Feet Locker manager, but whatever. And his dirty deeds didn't end on the sales floor. I would go to the back sometimes and catch this guy using the bathroom with the door open. Robert, this is not your house. Now, I don't know if he just wanted everyone to see his butt cheeks or what it was, but this guy was just so weird. His whole energy was just creepy. And I know the cashiers felt the same way whenever he tried to flirt, which is actually how Robert got exterminated. Okay, I'm kidding. He got transferred. Because I guess he kept trying to tease this one cashier, but she just wasn't really a big fan. And eventually she called him out for being weird, and then he called her a bitch, which led to him getting a write-up, and then I guess the management low-key were hoping to swap him out anyway, so we got a new assistant manager in his place. Who was honestly cool as hell, by the way. I mean, he didn't even care that I would take a couple minute breaks to make sure everything was good at my base on Clash of Clans during my shift. Yeah, I got bored and wanted some games on my phone, alright? Cock is a classic, and I won't let you talk down on it. Oh, hold up. You know what I mean. Like Cock like Clash of Clans, bro. Cock like Clash of Clans. Anyways, yeah. Once Wanda and Robert were gone, the new management team was really a solid starting lineup, and it actually made working at Feet Locker pretty enjoyable. I mean, it didn't last forever, but for a solid year and a half at Feet Locker, our team was stacked. Until... well, we can say that for another time. But let me know in the comments, what experience have you guys had working in retail or any type of job, good, bad, or in between? And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one.